Welcome to the Inspired Riding Podcast. I'm your host, Beth Lauren Parrish. As a certified riding instructor, remote coach, and rapid transformational therapy practitioner, a powerful form of hypnotherapy, I'm here to remind you to slow down, trust your intuition, and really deeply listen to your horse. And this will make for the best co-creative dances possible, whether you're on the ground or connecting on their backs. Thank you so much for being here, and here we go. Hello there, Inspired Riders. Thank you so much for joining us again for the Animal Wisdom podcast series. I have Jana Wagner with us again, and we are going to be talking to my Thoroughbred, Indy. His official show name was Don't Call Me Junior. And Indy will be 28 this year. And he's a fabulous Thoroughbred, and I cannot wait to hear what he has to say. Thank you so much for being here again, Jana. How are you today?
I am fantastic. How are you?
I'm so excited for this conversation. So thank you for being here. And Cordelia just started walking in. So if you hear some cute little paw prints, she is coming to join us. She is the official assistant of the Animal Wisdom podcast.
We may begin now because Cordelia has arrived.
Yep, she just sighed.
You know Indy's jockey club name?
His registered name was Inductee, and his mom was Perfect Reality.
I love it. Okay. I was curious because I know those OTTB listeners would find that fascinating too. I've gotten to know the community a tiny bit. I'm going to say tiny bit. Before and since I got Kenny, but just people are so into their horses and their families, and I just pulled Kenny's family tree out again the other day, and I was like, oh wait, there's a lot more well-known horses in here than I was remembering. It just was neat. So it's always kind of neat. So inductee.
Yes.
Yeah. He said they weren't handing out big ideas when I was born. Sorry.
That's adorable.
I hope everyone laughed because Indy's been cracking me up all morning before we even got on the podcast. So let me say hello to Indy and see where he would like to start. I understand he's been with you, Beth, for a really long time.
Yeah, about 20 years now.
Yeah, okay. Indy said that he would prefer not to have Beth go into great detail about his history or his story because he says it's already been shared multiple times, and if you really want to know it, get Beth's book. He said, I plugged Beth's book in there for her. But he said, my story is in her book. So if you want to know about me and how I came to meet Beth and live with Beth and be with her and stay with her, you need to read that. He said it's a very special compilation, and a special compilation of United Wisdoms.
United Wisdoms, is that what you said?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's calling your book United Wisdoms. What is the title of your book?
Your Horse Believes in You. And he's on the cover.
That's right. Okay. So Indy says, if you don't have it, please go buy it.
I love that horse.
Sometimes animals make me talk with a little different intonation too, and inflection. So it's funny because I don't usually hear animals with a specific voice or a character voice, if you will, but he's already making me kind of talk like him, so that's really fun. Anyhow, okay, let me see where he would like to start with his wisdoms today. And he's like, oh, I have so many. He said, you don't live this long without learning a few things. He said, where I would like to start where I would like to start is that I have always seen everything that I do, everything that I've done, every experience that I've had, every interaction that I encounter. I look for a way for it to elevate me. I see growth as an elevation, as a literal rising up. He said he would like to build on Pepper's wisdoms about movement because he is a much taller, bigger horse. And he said he had a lot of springs. He still has his springs in his legs. But he's showing me how when he moves, especially when he trots, how much elevation he gets. And for those of you that are horse people and develop horses, you understand that suspension is an important building block. And this is the way he sees elevating. He said sometimes people would see this in another and tell that individual, you need to ground. You need to ground. And he said, I want to invite the idea that you can have suspension and elevation and airs above the ground and still be grounded. He said, please don't let grounding hold you down. He believes that he's always been very grounded. He just prefers to do it about a foot off the ground. He said being grounded is about embodying your body, your physical form. It is not about being planted or stuck or screwed to the earth. He's showing me like literal screws through his feet, holding him to the earth. And he said, early on, this is what people tried to do for me. They tried to hold me down because I had so much suspension and enthusiasm. That was his sigh. He says when he remembers it, it still makes him feel just like, he said, there's not a word for that, but I think you understand.
Yes.
When you try to hold another back because you misunderstand what they need to be their best self, bad things happen. Bad reputations begin. Frustration explodes. Okay, okay. Indy said I didn't think this would get me so upset. And so I just paused a moment and I asked him if he wanted help shifting and clearing that. And he said, I think we better, or I'm going to get in a bad mood.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so we're just going to destroy and uncreate that. Thank you so much for sharing, Indy. Okay, he said, I feel better.
I got chills from that. Yeah.
Yeah, Indy, we all understand. Really proud of you. He's like, it just got really quiet in my head. And he like shook his head and he was like, okay, hold on. Where was I? He said if he had one great piece of wisdom for everyone everywhere, especially with horses, although with anyone in their life, please don't hold them down. Please don't hold them back. Please, when you're trying to support another to become their best selves, please stop and just listen and consider asking new questions when you're not sure or have not yet learned what that other needs to be supported to be their best selves. He said, I don't believe anyone really wants to make you less than you are. They just don't have the patience and tolerance to take the time to understand. what you need and how you need it. And he said, I spent my first couple of years so restrained and so frustrated and so angry because he said my feet were like never on the ground and nobody could stand it. He said if they would have just let me go and let me be light of foot, I would have been far more successful than I ever was. Instead, they kept trying to make me keep my feet screwed to the ground. So he also would like to take the opportunity for people to understand this angle and this perspective of his experience, of how he perceived his experience, because he wouldn't call it abuse. He wouldn't say that people were bad. He would just say there's so much frustration in lack of communication and lack of desire to communicate and lack of desire to listen. And when we get pressured and have a lot to do and a lot to get done, people don't allow for the space and the time to allow the gifts to come through. And don't you think many more would lead much more inspired lives if they just gave themselves a little bit of space and accepted when their gifts come through? He said, all my gifts were right there on my heart right away. And he said, I was bred to be fast. I have fast feet. I have fast, light feet. I have wings on my feet. Well, why would you pin them down? He said, the thing is, this is why Beth and I got along. She is also light of foot. She never tried to hold me down. I do need to apologize to Beth for my overexuberance on occasion.
Thank you, Indy. But I know that was just you being you.
Yeah. He said she has never tried to hold me down or screw my feet to the ground. She lets me be light of foot. She lets me be expressive. She lets me be me. And that is how I have been able to spend my life with her, pulling those pieces together and being able to be myself. He said, I felt like I fought the first years of my life fighting to be myself. And he said, I am jovial and funny and pretty carefree now. But early on, I had a lot of fight. And I wish that someone would have just said, would have just met me where I was instead of trying to force it out.
Yeah, and for context, he had 4 different trainers before he was 7.
Oh my gosh. He is
Yeah.
so your horse, Beth, because he just was like showing me the dynamic and perspective of the word force. So force can be to push down or it can be to illuminate. So like Star Wars, the force is they all like is consciousness, right? It's this source energy that we all can access to strengthen in many different ways. It can also be used against you. So he said, remember what the fairies talked about manipulation is really about creating with your hands, and force can be, it can be the hands forcing something back and down, or it can be something building you up. Which do you want it to be? Which way do you want to create it? He said, if you look at most words have this duality. They can either tear down or build up. Which do you want? And he said, Beth brought her force energy with my fight force energy and showed me how to turn it around so that I could be my best version of myself and I could bring into this world the energy that I wanted to bring in from day one, but it got confused. He said, okay, ask me something.
I'd love to know a little bit more about how your relationship has developed with Pepper over the years.
He's calling Pepper the Fast and the Furious.
It's so true. Oh my God.
He said, "Look, I want you all to understand something. When Pepper came, he was a lot like me. Pepper had a lot of walls up. Pepper didn't fully believe in himself. Pepper didn't, he knew his power, he felt his power, but he didn't realize it. And Indy takes full credit for how Pepper has come into himself because he said by the time Pepper showed up, he said he had figured out how to see himself and he could hold that energy for Pepper and invite him into the space and show him that he was safe to let his walls fall down and be his true sparkly self. He said that pony has always been sparkly, but sometimes life just has a way of dampening it a bit. He's like, I'm sorry. I feel like I keep going down a dark road, but I promise all of this has made me who I am. And he said, I just think it's important. When you're on your way to finding rainbows and sunshine, sometimes you have the dark stuff too. And it's really important not to deny that part of yourself because it helped you find your rainbows and sunshine. So he would say that he and Pepper have become rainbow and sunshine. Okay. Indy is the rainbow, Pepper is the sunshine, and that is why Pepper like leaps so much because the sunshine needs to leap over the rainbow.
It's so cute.
He said it's really, really special. How long have they been together?
Coming up on 6 years, the end of the month.
Okay. He said it's really a special thing to be able to impart his wisdom with Pepper and then to witness Pepper come through all of that and find himself and thrive. And he said, I don't mean it to sound as though Beth and Charlie weren't part of it. They were. But, we spend all day, every day together. And he said, I really, truly love that little horse. He just is the epitome of rainbows and sunshines. He said that because of the way you allow him to be, he can see through all the walls of anybody and see the essence of what's truly there and accept them where they're at. Because Beth took so much time to accept me where I was at, I am able to return that to others that need it. And he said, isn't that a beautiful gift? He said, that is my greatest gift. He said he is really good at reading people. Just don't let yourself get pinned down. Be the light and be the force that the other needs. He's kind of going in a pumpkin direction here.
I love it.
He says, that is how I value my friendship with Pepper over the years. It's been a beautiful opportunity. He said, it's just like when you meet your best friend on the playground when you're 2 years old.
Oh,
And you stay friends. It's the best. Ask me something else.
I'd love to know about that tree you hang out under. Charlie and I call it your meditation tree. Is there something really special about it? I'd love to know how you feel about it.
He said not only is it shaped like a shelter, it also has Have you gone and sat under there with them, Beth?
I've gone under there and it hits right up my head, like it's really low profile.
You hear it? He says that tree sings.
I need to go back and listen. That's gorgeous.
Yeah, he said you might need to put your hand on it to hear it sing, because your feet don't work like ours do.
Oh,
He said hooves are also shaped this way because they're like, if you think about it, they're kind of like a cup, like, you know, when you put your ear up to a seashell or a tin can, you know, you can hear things.
yeah.
He said that's how their feet are. Horse feet are receivers, so they can hear a lot through their feet. Oh, do you know that explains? I talked to a horse the other night that got a little fired up riding out on the desert because she said the land was rumbling and it was seismic activity, but to her it sounded like artillery coming.
Wow. Okay.
Okay, so she was listening with her feet, wasn't she? Yeah. Okay, thank you, Indy. I'm gonna have to message that lady.
Yeah.
um, he said, Beth, come out here and listen to the trees sing. He said, all the trees have voices, but this one sings in a way that is so restorative.
Hmm.
And not only does it offer shelter, but it offers its own sort of healing, its own sort of source energy. And he, he said it's part of their wellness program.
That makes so much sense. And what's fascinating is when they're under it, I can't see them. It's like they have disappeared, like they've gone through a vortex.
It's kind of like in your other book, about the part where the horses come through that portal.
Yeah, through the planet Gaventura in my book called The String Keeper's Wish.
Yeah, it's similar in nature, he said. So he said Pepper also likes it because it's a really good 360 view right there.
Nice.
So it's very easy to feel sheltered and safe, but also have a good view of the surroundings. Um, he said their barn shed has partially obstructed views, which is part of why they prefer to hang under the tree.
That makes sense. Thank you for sharing that, Indy.
Sure.
I'd love to know more about what Indy thinks about the fairy world. And do they actually ride his mane? Because I do see what they call fairy knots on his mane quite often.
Do you remember that cartoon Wildfire?
The name is sort of ringing a bell, but I can't really like picture it.
Look it up. I'll find it on YouTube and send it to you. Wildfire was this magical horse that came through this portal, and this girl had this amulet. It's a cartoon from, you know, the 80s. Personal favorite. But he said that it's similar to that. That girl had this amulet that called this horse in, and he would come and get her, and they'd go on these adventures. Like she would help him with things, right? He said for him, it's very much like that. They come and ask for help and assistance, and he says gladly, and off they go. He has a strong warrior aspect of his self. So fairy wars. He said fairy wars is is the terminology. However, it's more of a mission, and not all horses have these wings on their feet. The warrior ones tend to. Have you noticed that his feet are shaped a bit different than most horses?
Yeah, he has really deep frogs too.
They need to be like that to travel because his feet act as receivers. He said, for lack of a better word, his feet are weapons, but he doesn't like the word weapon, but they're used to not only receive guidance and information and direction, but to diffuse. So he said, let me try to put it this way. I don't need to use my feet to fight, but just the act of stepping into the frequency that needs to be cleared or dispersed or shifted, the act of stepping into it is what breaks it up. So he said, like you, Jana, use fire to transmute. I use my feet.
I wonder if that's why he enjoys Spanish walk so much.
Yes, yes, because then he gets the opportunity to show you what he does, what he does together with the fairies. He said that's been his life's work, and that's why else it was so hard for him to have his feet planted on the ground, because you've got to be able to step up and over what's there to shift, to shift. I'm really understanding what he's saying. I'm just having a hard time translating it into words, because it's like he's showing me a landscape of stagnant or dark, or what did that fairy say before about the what they were quote unquote fighting? Do you remember?
I think just the overall fighting against sadness and darkness. Was that right?
Yes.
Okay. I have to go back and listen again.
Oh, me too. You know how when he said it's a like a collective, okay. If you've read Eckhart Tolle at all, there's a collective pain body. So what happens is it starts to, all the collective pain when it's released out, if it is not tended to and dispersed, it it starts to get heavy and weigh down and cause more chaos, widespread chaos. So one of his jobs, just like Pumpkin or any corgi, he said some other chosen horses as well. One of his jobs is to go with the fairies, and he literally gallops through this with the fairy, and they bring new creation energy. So his feet break up the density of the pain body, and their combined forces, his and the fairies, help to break up and dissipate so that that collective pain can be dispersed and restored and renewed and reused rather than weighing down. He said, do you see my purpose is about bringing lightness and releasing the aspect of being weighed down?
I love that. And can I ask a technical question?
Sure.
When the fairies are with you and you're with them and you're galloping, I'm guessing that's in an alternate dimension and not actually on our property.
Correct.
Okay, just confirming that because
We travel.
yeah. So you travel energetically.
Yes.
That's so cool. Is there anything else you'd like us to know that can help enhance the horse human connection?
Learn to listen well. Make it a priority. I just wondered to him if he had any insight into ways to help humans learn listening. He said there are so many ways. Number one, though, is you must practice. You must practice. It is the only way you will get good at it. It needs to be a priority. And the exercise he would recommend is to set a timer and do nothing for 5 or 10 minutes. Do nothing. Sit down and then just listen. If your mind thinks, don't worry about it. Just listen. Oh, what else did I hear? Oh, what else did I hear? Oh, I heard that and now I hear this. That's okay. That's how it teaches you to listen, because then you can begin to focus in on one sound and then shift your attention and focus in on another sound. And with that kind of practice and intentional focus on listening, all of a sudden you find yourself in the center of the listening, and that's where you hear us. That's where you hear your soul. That's where you hear your heart. That's where you hear your song. And that's where you hear the tree. And you don't have to reach for it, it will come to you.
What are some of his favorite sounds?
There's a yellow bird that comes by, and he said the yellow bird has the sweetest song he's ever heard. He said for him it's like your favorite composer. But there's a yellow bird that comes, and he says it's been a family of yellow birds, so it's not been the same one over all the years that he's lived with you, but it's been several from the family.
Does he like the woodpecker sounds?
He's like, if you ever get inside the head of a woodpecker, you're in for a joyride.
So we have those pileated woodpeckers that sound like Woody the Woodpecker. We had them in Texas too, so yeah.
He said, I also really like the sound of feed buckets banging around.
That's definitely on
Let's
point.
be honest.
Yeah.
I can hear plastic from across the property.
That's on brand for a happy horse, right? Yeah.
He said I went deep, so I thought I'd pop back up to the surface for a moment.
Oh my gosh, bless him.
But that just further exemplifies what he's saying about listening and where you put your attention on what you're listening to. So he clearly has attuned his self and is listening to, you know, that plastic bucket sound. Like I can hear it in my mind right now. The cookie plastic bag, you know, the candy cane wrapper plastic. It'll just, because it's important, because it matters. So when you start to teach your mind and your hearing to respond to those sounds, that's how you get better at listening, because you are teaching yourself to pay attention to where you need to listen. So this is a really great that he's sharing this away, because this is how I hear the animals too, because I've learned to put my focused attention in a certain space. And that's how I hear them. You know, Toby started teaching me years ago about listening to all the different sounds and then listening in between the spaces or in the pauses, in between the sounds. So, for example, every word has a space between it, because if it didn't, it would all just sound like bzz. So, this is what we need to do to better hear our animals.
It almost feels like we're practicing to embody the sound as we listen deeper, right?
Correct. He said the pauses and the spaces allow information to come in as well, so that you can receive it, which is why I said sit down and do nothing. Set a timer and do nothing.
I love that. What's something that you haven't told me, but you'd like to let me know now?
Never give up. He says you and I share that. Never give up. If you're unhappy or dissatisfied, be true to yourself and never give up. He said, I don't think I really need to expand on that. He said, when I reflect on my life since coming to live with Beth, she showed me the rewards of never giving up. And he said I was still pretty angry when she met me, but she seemed friendly, so I was friendly back. But I was still pretty angry. And somehow she just got it and she never gave up. So I never gave up.
And that's probably why you did all the rearing just from hand walking, right?
Yes, my feet had been pinned down a long time and she let me rip those pins out of the ground. I needed it. I really needed it. And he said, please apologize to her for me if that scared her. I didn't mean it.
I know, thank you. And I know that I just felt this feeling of overwhelming emotion. And all I could think of was to just stay really calm and centered and breathe and wait for you to just come back when you're ready. And I'm just glad I could be there for you.
He said it was like he had to break the chains, and you have to have a certain kind of person to help you do that. Okay, we're going to clear that too.
Okay.
I felt him starting to go down that little hole again. I'm like, do we need to move that? And he's like, please.
And that's the beauty of your work, Jana. You can just help delete, uncreate, clear out any energy that just needs to go, and then it's gone. It's so simple. I love that.
It is so simple. And, like what Indy was saying about being witness for Pepper and his unfolding and what he needed to step into who he is. Sometimes we just need the other there to witness our process. We don't need them to do for us. We just need them to be present. And then, like the clearing part is I feel so deeply what they're sharing that it's easy to grab it energetically and just ask, how can I support you in this? What do you need here? And very often they'll just pull up this ball of energy with the stuck memory or whatever it is. And then you can just literally grab it and say, let's destroy and uncreate that.
Yeah, to me, it's almost like a string on a pearl in a sense, or a pearl on a string. Yeah.
Sure. I just feel it like it feels like a big energy ball to me, and it's literally easy to just grab it and toss it.
Nice. I love it. Is there anything you'd specifically like to ask Indy, Jana?
I just wanted to thank him because I was really looking forward to this. I don't know him as well, and I just was really looking forward to getting to know him a little bit more. So I just want to thank him for openly sharing so much. Oh, what a lovely creature.
Is he up for answering some questions from our listeners?
Always.
Okay, cool. Was there anything else you want to share before we start that?
He just wanted to circle around again to, he would like to offer an invitation that grounding perception be shifted into embodiment. He said being in your body and a part of your body is more important than quote unquote grounding. He said it's okay and it's safe for you to be here and be in your body and experience. So please just remember, embodiment is elevation. If you're feeling unhappy or pinned down, Oh, this is so interesting. You know how when people say you need to be grounded, it's kind of like you floated up and out of your body, like you split off?
Right.
He said sometimes people don't go up and out, they go down and into the ground. So he said it's different than being connected to the earth. He said you're literally stepping on yourself.
Is that when you see a horse like that's checked out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He said you've literally put yourself down into the ground and are walking all over yourself all the time. And he said those are the individuals that get walked over
Oh, wow.
because they have not gone up out of their body. So he said this is why it's important that you see grounding is going both ways and not just plugging in, because you need to come back up into your body. So he would like to offer an invitation on the perspective of grounding becoming more of an embodiment, being present within your body.
Being completely present within your body.
Oh my God, I love this.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, because grounding always felt so forceful to me, but what he's sharing is helping me kind of sync up with some things I've been experiencing myself because I split off and go up and out a lot. But I can remember times in my life where I just shoved myself so far down that I felt like I had disappeared. And so rather than trying to pull myself in and down, I just kind of ask myself to come together in my center and then expand out from there. And it's more embodied that way. And you just feel more free to move.
Yeah. Grounding doesn't necessarily mean you have to have contact with the earth, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Just feel all of your senses to be able to embody yourself completely. And then you'll be able to listen better too.
Mm-hmm. He said he's still a really fast horse and he would have been one of the fastest if his feet hadn't been screwed to the ground.
Oh,
And he goes, but I digress.
I wonder if that's why they said he quote unquote failed race training. Like, I never understood the details. He doesn't have to answer if he doesn't want to, but
Well, he said, what's the question? Why I failed racing?
yeah, why they said he failed at the racetrack.
He had a reputation for being dangerous. The standing up.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
He said that was all it was. I never even got a chance to really prove how fast I was because they just kept pulling me down and I fought it.
Got it. That makes sense. Yeah.
If you're deemed too dangerous, you're not allowed to run. He goes, Beth, if you met me when I was 2, I was dangerous.
Yeah. Well, you kind of were when I first met you, to be honest.
It's like, yeah, I was at about 50% of my original danger by then.
And that was still a lot for me. But we worked through it. We worked through it.
Exactly.
Well, thank you, Indy. All right, I'm going to move on to the listeners' questions now. Sound good?
Sounds good.
All right. So, one of Nikki's questions: what does Pepper do that gets you wanting to join in on the groundwork fun?
I get excited because it's like when you see a student of yours come into themselves and really blossom, and you just want to be part of it. And I consider Pepper to have been one of my students because he had so many walls up when he came. And now I see him express his love and joy for interacting in this way, and it's just infectious. And I just want to be in it too.
That's beautiful. We've kind of talked already about one of Carrie's questions about your relationship with Pepper, but she also wanted to know, when did you first feel that Beth was your person?
Always. You have to never give up until you find your person. And when you find your person, you just know. I never doubted.
And Joe wants to know, what makes you feel tremendously happy, and how do you let your humans know that you are that happy?
He said, well, I think it's obvious. When you find your person and you have taught yourself to listen and to pay attention, and then you've taught your person to listen and pay attention, there's a mutual awareness that happens, and you just know that it's true. And then that is when we find that we can begin to be expressive and find ways to express ourselves. So when I smile and make my funny face, it's how I enjoy expressing myself to my fullest. So to quote somebody, happiness is an inside game. And with internal inside happiness, genuine happiness becomes expression. At least that has been my own experience.
And she wanted to know, how much do you get paid per smile?
It's a secret.
It's a secret. I love it. Good job, Indy. Good job. We can't divulge everything.
No, no, he'll never tell. I even was sort of like needling him a little bit. I'm like, tell us more. Give us some. He's like, mm-mm.
Do you have any specific wisdom for other horses? Kelly wants to know.
If he could tell the other horses, especially the ones that feel like they've lost their way, not to give up. There's someone for everyone.
She'd also like to know, what's the coolest thing he's ever done in this life or a past life.
He would say every experience he's had that has created the culmination of who he is today is the best one.
Love that.
It's good to reflect on the hard times and the good times, because don't those bring forward who you become throughout your life? For me, I have great satisfaction. He said that he has long been partnered with the fairies and done this job that he does. He has done it within every lifetime. This has always been one of his jobs. So you could micro view his past lives. However, is it relevant? Because the key component is, this is who I am. And I am fortunate enough to have remembered that. He said he's been a horse many, 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 many times, and always a part of assisting the fairies with this particular work that he does. It's just that when you come into horse bodies, horse uses vary greatly. He said, I'm not exactly clear on this. Okay. Since horses have been utilized throughout time for carrying, for war, for being warriors, for being messengers, all those things. If you reflect back through all the jobs that horses have been a part of, you see it doesn't really matter if I was a racehorse, a cavalry horse, a native horse. It really doesn't matter what discipline or use I came into. What matters is that horse knows how to move through the energies to continue to help things move in a way that diffuses stagnation, congestion, chaos. Humans think they created freedom, but it was us. It was the horse. So many of us have agreed to partner with humans to help them live, experience, and learn freedom. And we do this in a lot of ways. We give them legs when they can't walk. We give them transportation. We give them power. We give them embodiment. We give them healing. We give them love. We give them the freedom to move in a way that they could not do on their own. And we've agreed to move through this with people throughout all time for many, many, many different reasons. That is why we were with people.
That's beautiful. Thank you. I have actually one more question that just came up. How do you feel that I don't ride you anymore?
I feel grateful because when you asked if I wanted to be done, you listened. That's how I feel. I feel that you have always honored me. And when I need a change, you always honored that. That's how I feel about that.
Thank you for sharing that. Is there anything else you want to share, or does that feel complete?
He said to tell you that maybe you and he never won any big championships, but he won when he got you.
I feel you just sneezed on the truth as I'm tearing up here.
I know I'm crying too.
That was adorable. Come back here, Mama. She's literally draped over the bed back here, like, are you with us, Mom? Are you okay? Here she comes. Thank you so much, Indy. That was really heartwarming. Yeah.
Anytime.
Jana, do you have any other questions for him, or does that feel good?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I'm really, really grateful. Like I said before, the opportunity to do this has just been tremendous for me. Like I look forward to it because I had some apprehension just in anticipation of what my own animals were going to share, because I knew it was going to hit some big feelings, and it has. And it's also been incredibly, incredibly healing and so good for my soul to have these conversations.
I agree.
My mind is already like, oh, when we're done talking to just our animals, what direction we we haven't even like talked about this yet, but like what direction could we go next? Because like I told you the other day, I just been enjoying this because having you on the other side to have the conversations just anchors the conversation so beautifully. And it's just such a tremendous gift.
So next up, I'm getting that it could be Rose. What do you think? Or no, sorry, Wallace. Wallace. I figure we go back and forth, right?
Sure. Yeah, I think Wallace is very excited to share.
Awesome. And then we can do Rose after, and then we can do one of your cats, and then maybe Tabitha, like going back and forth. How's that sound?
Sounds great.
I love it. Yeah, and then maybe other people's animals or spirit animals want to come through. We'll see. We'll see how it unfolds as we go.
Oh, because we also have our animals in spirit.
Right, that's what I mean. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, wow. Okay.
That could go on forever. We have so
I'll
many.
make sure, I'll make sure I have a tissue box. Oh my goodness.
All right, you guys. Thank you again so much for listening. Please do reach out if you have any questions or feedback. Do write a review if you feel inspired on your favorite podcast platform. Thank you again so much, Jana. Thank you, Indy.
My pleasure.
And remember, everyone, to lead with kindness for yourself and for your horse.
And buy the book.
And Indy says, and buy the book. You can find Your Horse Believes in You at inspiredriding.com/book. That's the easiest way. Or you can just type in Beth Lauren Parrish through Amazon and you'll find that book, as well as my fiction book if you're interested. Or you can just email me if you'd like to find it. It's also on Audible. So enjoy reading, listening, however you like. We're sending you lots of love. And may the horse be with you always.